October 2015, CIA headquarters, Virginia. John Brennan receives a call from an unknown number. The caller appears to be a child who tells John that he has hacked into all of CIA's systems. This call would have been considered a prank call if it had been made to any ordinary person. But John Brennan, at that time, was the director of CIA, the most powerful intelligence agency in the world. Calling him, let alone knowing his personal mobile number, is a big deal. This is the story of two kids who hacked all of CIA systems and made a superpower like America dance to their tune. Who were these kids? And why and how did they pull this off? Welcome once again to Zemra TV's videos. When the caller is asked about his demand, he says, America should stop attacks in the Middle East, especially in Palestine, and let the world remain peaceful. Even before this phone call, CIA had already found out that their system had been hacked. What damage this hacking was doing to CIA and America, you'll find out later in the video. As soon as the call ended, the entire American government and CIA jumped into action. And because such a big intelligence agency had been hacked by a child, it was a moment of deep embarrassment for the CIA. Let us tell you here that CIA agents only accept defeat in one thing, if their identity is disclosed. So much so that inside CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, there's a Starbucks branch. The cups they serve to officers have no logo and no agent's name written on them. The reason is that these cups should not be traceable to agents. Now you can imagine, if CIA takes so many precautions in small things, how big a deal it must have been for their system to get hacked. When the investigation started, it was found that this call was made from Leicester, a city in England, by a 15-year-old boy. This kid called himself Kraka and had created a hacking community called Krakas with Attitude. But how and why did he hack the CIA? To know this, we'll have to go back a bit, to 2008, where this story begins. In 2008, in the state of Virginia, USA, there was another boy known as Default. He was very fond of video games. To win at video games, he started modifying game programming. He would change the rules of online games like Counter-Strike to win easily, basically creating cheats. He started manipulating things as per his will, and he learned all of it from the internet. Default was inspired by a hacking group called Anonymous, which had become very famous in 2008. Anonymous often made headlines at that time. To raise their voice, the group would hack major websites and post messages of their choice. Seeing all this, Default was very impressed with Anonymous and began entering the world of hacking. Slowly, he began hacking small websites, but he wanted to do something big. For that, he needed a hacking group. So Default joined a group called AnonSec. This group had previously hacked several websites, mostly for political purposes. AnonSec used botnets. That is, they spread viruses on the internet. Whichever computer was infected by this virus came under AnonSec's control. All such infected computers were called bots, and the entire network was called a botnet. He found that the school still had to collect over $9 million from students, which he deleted from the college's computer. Default's first hacking attempt was successful. As a result, the entire management system of the medical college was thrown into disarray. This first hacking was done playfully, but the next one was out of anger. In 2014, the government of Denmark passed a shameful law which allowed sexual abuse of animals. This news outraged animal rights activists around the world. Default himself had a dog whom he loved dearly. Out of anger, Default and his group hacked Denmark's official website. They posted in large letters, Did you know that your government allows abuse of animals? Not only that, Default also used the botnet to attack and shut down all websites made in favor of that law. Because Denmark's official website was hacked, the news spread rapidly. The whole world began to condemn Denmark's decision. People began criticizing Denmark. Eventually, the Danish government could not withstand the pressure and had to roll back the decision the next year. For the first time, Default had succeeded in his mission. But people started giving credit to the anonymous group because they were the ones usually in the headlines. Default didn't like this at all. He had done such a big thing and someone else was taking the credit. But he didn't give up and kept working. Like other hackers, Default never revealed his identity. He knew that if ever traced, the consequences of hacking could be dire. He wouldn't use his home Wi-Fi. Instead, he had purchased a satellite connection which he installed far away from his house. From there, he used a private network to access the internet in his home. His computer was also highly secure, so much so that it took 30 minutes to turn on because of all the security layers. But to protect his privacy, he had no problem waiting. So far, you've learned about two characters in the story. One is Kraka from England, and the other is Default, living in the USA. Before 2013, they didn't know each other. But then something happened that brought them together. Edward Joseph Snowden, a computer intelligence consultant at the National Security Agency, or NSA, was working on a project for the American government. He discovered that the CIA secretly collects every internet user's data and private information, and then uses it for its own purposes without the user's knowledge. Edward wanted to expose this secret, but he also feared that he couldn't do this while living in the US. He would either be killed or jailed for leaking classified information. So, Edward took leave and flew to Hong Kong. There, he exposed America's secrets to a journalist and the world. As soon as this news leaked, the world was shaken. People were outraged that their data was being used without their permission and they were being constantly monitored. In reaction to this, Kraka and Default got in contact. Both decided to teach a lesson to the American government and CIA. They wanted to show CIA how it feels when someone's personal information is leaked. Kraka and Default had one goal. Default wanted revenge from the US for ending the privacy of its people. Kraka wanted revenge for the attacks on Gaza. In short, both had the same enemy, the US government. First, they made public the phone number of James Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence. Anyone could now get his number just by Googling. Next, they wanted to hack someone even more high profile, so they targeted CIA Director John Brennan. Kraka started searching about John online and found a public phone number linked to Verizon, an American mobile operator. He called Verizon's internal tech team pretending to be an employee from the same company, saying he was trying to resolve a customer's technical issue. To verify his identity, the Verizon team asked for a PIN, which Kraka had already hacked and obtained. After verification, Verizon shared John Brennan's personal details with Kraka. Now, Kraka had John Brennan's account number, backup mobile number, address, and last 4 digits of his bank card. The next step was to hack Brennan's email. Kraka used the last 4 digits, which he already had, to reset the password. Just like that, he gained access to Brennan's email. Now, the personal email account of the CIA director was in Kraka's hands. He opened Brennan's private inbox, which was full of important and top-secret documents, data of other CIA officers, their social security numbers, and confidential government instructions. By then, Brennan had realized his email was hacked and got it shut down. But it was too late. Kraka had already downloaded all the data. He started releasing the documents one by one. It created chaos across America and disgraced the CIA globally. Now, catching the hackers had become a necessity. They wanted to catch them at all costs, but couldn't find any leads. A few days after calling Brennan, Kraka leaked the personal information of 9,000 Department of Justice employees and 20,000 FBI agents on social media. After doing all this, Kraka was living life peacefully. He thought maybe catching him was impossible. But on the other hand, Default, being a U.S. resident, was now worried. He feared that if caught, the consequences would be severe. Maybe they would have never been caught if Default hadn't made a mistake. While drunk, he told a friend that he was behind the CIA hacking. That one mistake brought the downfall of both. A few days later, the FBI raided Default's room and dragged him away. During interrogation, Kraka's name also came up, and he was arrested with the help of British police. Kraka's real name is Kane Gamble, and Default's real name is Justin Gray Leverman. Due to being underage, Kraka was sentenced to 2 years in prison, while Default, who wasn't directly involved in hacking the CIA, was sentenced to 5 years. Both are now free from jail and pursuing careers in cybersecurity. What do you think? Were they right or wrong? Do let us know in the comments. We hope you'll give this Zemra TV video a big like and share. Thank you so much for your loving comments. See you in the next amazing video.